Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Today we're really going to talk about Cardano versus Ethereum. Now there are some Cardano superfans. I'm not one of them that says Cardano right after Shelly. That's probably going to happen towards the end of this year. I know they're testing the staking part, phase 2 this year. They still have phase 3, which is the incentive part that you have to test after phase 2. That after it comes out, it will completely take over Ethereum, become the dominant mainnet. I don't know about that one. I mean, Cardano is a good project. Like I said, I do have some reservations because it's been delayed a little too much. I don't mind if you delay it a few weeks, a few months, but it's almost been a year now, and there's been several delays on launching the decentralization Shelly. And we know that Charles in the past has jumped from project to project, so I am very hesitant to really recommend it. However, I will say I have invested in Cardano because I do think Shelly will actually launch this time and it will give the price a pump. As for it overtaking Ethereum, I don't know, because Ethereum has its own updates planned. Now, in terms of scaling, Ethereum does about 15 transactions per second. That's really not that great. 15 transactions per second. I mean, we had Vitalik just come on a little while ago and saying that Ethereum is almost congested and told people that this ridiculous thing of either buying Ethereum Classic or scaling with Bitcoin Cash, that does not give people very much confidence in Ethereum. I mean, come on, man. Bitcoin Cash, really scaling with Bitcoin Cash? Nothing like, actually, I'm warming up a little bit to Bitcoin Cash, honestly, but I don't think Ethereum should really scale with Bitcoin Cash, and I definitely don't think it should scale with Ethereum Classic unless you like 51% attacks, which I'm hoping Vitalik does not. But if you look at the transactions per second, Ethereum proof of work only does 15 transactions per second. Cardano, which will be proof of stake, can do 257 transactions per second. Now, that is still less than other cryptocurrencies with thousands of transactions per second, and then you can see all the other stats here. But I don't think just because it releases the Shelly, it will be instantly taking over Ethereum. Yes, the transactions per second and the through output will be much greater, and Cardano does have some MOUs, but for me, I'm not buying the fact that they're saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think it's pretty cool, and I do think it will be centralized. Right now, it's centralized right now on a bunch of servers, the settlement layer at least. After Shelly, it'll decentralize the settlement layers and go to proof of stake, and the staking pools will truly be decentralized. Now, each individual will have to join a staking pool or start a staking pool themselves in order to stake. But even when you are taking part of a staking pool, you will be in control of your own wallet and your coins, making the system truly decentralized. And they're saying that because of that, it will be 100 times more decentralized than Bitcoin and dozens of times the through output. Now, 257 might not sound like much compared to the hundreds or thousands or whatever of transactions per second that some of the other blockchains actually say they have. And I'm sure they do have it, but if you really look at the usage right now, Tron, which is one of the most used, if you look at Blocktivity, Tron is one of the most used. I don't really like Tron, but it is one of the most used in terms of activity per day, and it only reaches an average of not even 20 transactions per second. So 257 TPS will be enough to basically cover anything for the next few years, and you can always build improvements upon the proof of stake algorithm for Cardano. Cardano also writes in a functional programming language that's based on Haskell, so that actually cuts out some of the complications and is supposed to be better developed than Ethereum. I'm not really sure. I haven't really met anyone that actually knows how to write Haskell. I know it's a very, very specialized language. A lot of times it is in academic circles. And I know the programming language that they're looking at really is kind of focused on the financial world, which is fine if Cardano is focused in on that particular category. However, let's not forget that Ethereum has first mover advantage and a large first mover advantage. Cardano's settlement layer has not been decentralized, and there aren't really that many dApps or anything developing on it right now. Ethereum has had dApps running on it for several years now, for at least a few years, maybe not several, but at least a few years. And let's not forget that a lot of these big enterprises have actually jumped onto Ethereum, meaning that Santander just issued a $20 million bond. An NBA player just is tokenizing his NBA contract, presumably on Ethereum. The NBA player didn't tell us directly which blockchain he tokenized on, but it is going to be a bond format. And my guess is it's going to be Ethereum. I actually tweeted him to make sure to actually verify. He hasn't tweeted me back, but he is an NBA player. He probably doesn't talk to peons like me, but I'm going to guess it's going to be on Ethereum. And there's going to be a lot of use cases. Plus, a lot of the financial world banks and the World Bank even admitted that they are warming to Ethereum use. So getting them to get off Ethereum and get onto Cardano will be rather difficult. These organizations do not move quickly. They've tested Ethereum, they trust Ethereum, and getting them to trust Cardano in the same way will not be that easy. Trust me, it doesn't work quite that easily. And let's not forget, Ethereum itself has the proof of stake thing coming. It's actually going to change into Serenity or 2.0, and it's going to have proof of stake as well, and sharding is going to come, and that should push it up to thousands of transactions per second. After you have thousands of transactions per second, I mean, it can compete with Cardano punch for punch. You could say like whichever development platform is better. I'm not going to argue with you for that because I would have to try both of them before I actually make a decision. So both between Ethereum and Cardano, it's going to be a heavyweight fight, maybe like Tyson versus Ali, although those two never fought, but it'd be awesome if Tyson fought Ali. I'm pretty sure Ali would win, but it would be interesting to see those two fight in their prime. Tyson fought Foreman, and that fight when he defeated Foreman was one of the best fights in boxing history. Maybe it'll be like Rocky Balboa and Ivan Drago in real life. Now that would be really awesome. But Cardano and Ethereum are going to have is going to be really competitive. I'm just wary of these Ethereum killers because many people have tried it and not many have succeeded. But Cardano does seem more organized and does seem to have more direction than them if Charles Hoskinson can actually pull his vision off. And we will see that towards the end of this year, whether Shelley and Gongguan can actually get released or not. Because if they do not get released, then I think all bets are off. But if at least Shelley can get released and Gongguan can follow the year a couple of months afterwards, and about at that time, Ethereum will actually get sharding, and we'll see them go head to head with the clients they have. Now, I think Ethereum is going to be really, really hard to take down because they have the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, they have businesses running on it, and they have bonds and financial instruments issued on it. Cardano has a few memorandums of understanding, MOUs, with African countries and with other partnerships as well, and they're looking for other ways to kind of expand their platform and get adoption. Hoskinson is working on that, but Ethereum already has that. So is it a knockout blow for Cardano once Shelley arrives? No, I don't actually think so, but it will be very good competition. Hopefully Cardano can provide much better competition to Ethereum than Tron or EOS has, because those have been not very good, and they have not really attracted the enterprise away from Ethereum. I think there's room for both of them in the future. I don't really think it's an Ethereum killer, but it would be an Ethereum competitor in the time to come. So that's my view on it. If you like my content, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bells button, and also join me for the twice daily live streams. If you can, let me know what you think of this video. Thank you and have a nice day.